Welcome back to the channel. In this video you'll see how I'm returning to running following a month off with a hip injury. I'm on a run down to my local park run, so half a mile to my first run in 1 month now. So it was exactly a month ago that I did my last run. Felt that hip pain was getting a bit too bad to carry on, so it's been a long month and I'm looking forward to getting back to it. So in preparation for today's run, I've done a considerable mobility routine on my hip. So that's been a lot of stretching, foam rolling, a little bit of yoga, which is sort of fairly limited for someone with very limited flexibility and a bad hip. So here is the routine that I've done for a bit of mobility. So for a bit of context, typically before I'd run, I wouldn't really do any of this in the past. It's something I've never done. I've occasionally done a little bit of stretching when things are tight, but at this point I'm trying anything really just to make sure that I can run niggle free and be happy with that. So the idea here was to mainly focus on my hips and the muscles around those, so talking about sort of hamstrings, lower back as well. So you'll see doing a few single leg exercises here, and mainly exercises that will get my hips mobilized and in a good state to run. So this lasted around 20 minutes, this routine. I've sped up at 10 times speed, just so you don't have to go through it all. But I've kept it fairly dynamic as well. So I want to always be moving in the warm-up for a run. I don't want to be doing many static stretching. So anytime I've had a static stretch, I've sort of made it into more of a dynamic stretch and kept it moving throughout that. And towards the end of a routine, I do a bit of foam rolling work too. So I've done all the stretches here, and then the foam rolling really is just to make sure that I'm pushing out a few knots that are in there and a few tight muscles that I've had here. So starting on the hamstrings, getting all the force in there by pushing down on the one leg, and then going on to the side, really just wherever is hurting, wherever I can feel that I'm getting a little bit of benefit from the foam rolling here. I've just put a bit more emphasis on that. So I'll swap over onto the front and get into the hip there. So real good exercise. Just my first thoughts though, I feel like my legs are really good. Have woken up and I'm ready to run this morning. So the plan is to do a park run just to the pace to feel. I'm aware that I'm probably not going to have much fitness, running fitness that is. I've been doing a lot of cycling and swimming, but it's not the same as actually running and getting fit in that way. So I might well feel that I'm going to gas out a bit, so I'm not going to set off and try and set a PB. I'm just going to ease into it, and I'd like to test out towards the end what my legs are capable of. Something now that I've not been saying for a whole month since my last park run. We're at the start line of Coronation Park parkrun, and off we go. And you'll notice that I'm sticking to the 22-minute pacer. So I knew Matt, and talking to him before the park run, I said that I'm not going to go any quicker than him, so tell me off if I'm running in front of him, the 22-minute pacer. We'll see later in the video if this does exactly go to plan. But here we are going on to the bit of a switchback section. So we've done around a mile now. You see everyone coming the other way into the dog leg, and then you've got a little bit of a downhill from this section back onto the park. So once you're on that loop of the park, that's just over a mile, and at this point set off at about just under 7-minute mile pace, so it's a little bit quicker than an easy pace, but I did want to just see how my legs were doing over a decent sort of effort. I kind of had in my head that they'd be okay just jogging down, as I knew from the run down for park for half a mile. So seeing how they were after putting a little bit more effort in. And here we are on the back section of the loop. We're coming back round now onto, I think it's the end of the second lap, and we're going on to the third lap of the park. So
at this point I'm slightly in front of Matt, slightly in front of a 22-minute pacer, and we're coming round onto the third lap. And I get to this point and I'm about 2 to 2.5 miles into my run, and I feel like really I've probably pushed it a little bit too hard for what my fitness is. I can feel that my breathing's a little bit elevated and I've had to slow down a little bit. And you'll see at this point how happy I am to be back running. So all that time in the shed on my bike, in the pool, it's great to be out in the fresh air and be outdoors, out running again. And coming into the finish, just under the 22-minute mark.
Guys,
Cheers.
well done. Cheers.
How far have you ended up doing?
So that was my first run in 1 month completed, and it went probably quite a lot better than I expected. So didn't feel that I could feel any pain whilst I was running. Didn't feel perfect. I felt a little bit unfit, if anything, in terms of running. Got to about 1.5 miles or 2 miles of running and started feeling more like I was kind of out of breath really when I was just running a kind of easy pace. So it felt okay. Yeah, I've not got any more sort of niggles that have come out of it. So what I'd like to do from here is to just rest it up for a day or two, still keep up with the cross training, and yeah, I've got physio booked in on Wednesday of next week, so I'll just keep it nice and easy until then. Won't do anything probably more than half an hour, 40 minutes at a time, and see what they say at the physio and take the advice from there of how I can build back to running. So over the last 2 weeks, I've not exactly just been sitting around and just hoping that my leg will get better. I've been trying to do a little bit of mobility as and where I can. As I said on the last video, I've been walking and swimming. That's continued. I've done quite a bit of swimming in the past couple of weeks, and I can really feel that a little bit of fitness is gaining there, and it's given me a little bit of a goal and a focus to aim for, that without running, I've not really got any sort of goals outside of work, and that took away from me. So swimming's been a good chance to set different goals, look at how sort of far I'm doing in a session, think about like my technique with the swimming, can I improve at any, and it's just given me something to focus on, which has been really good to replace running temporarily for that period whilst I've been injured. And another thing I've added in the past week or so that I was a bit reluctant to do to start with is a bit of cycling. So I've been doing a bit of Zwift, and I built up to about 90 minutes of Zwift now, so that's a good sort of time and distance that I can do. I remember back in sort of November, December time when I tried to put Zwift and the cycling into my routine whilst I was marathon training, it did start to aggravate my hips a little bit. So I've got to be careful with this. I want to build up that strength in the muscles that I'm using for cycling, but I don't want this to impact on running and start causing an injury. So it could be that there's something in the technique that I'm cycling, maybe my bike's not set up correctly, that is hurting my hips. Who knows, but I want to try and keep that cycling up, keep that fitness up, and I feel that adding that within my routine whilst I'm returning to running, along with the swimming, is going to help me prevent any injuries reoccurring. Thank you for watching this week's video, and I'll be back next week with more running content. Hopefully we're still running and I've heard some positive news from the physio.